Welcome back to this guy's garage. And if you're new here, you're probably broke down, and I'm going to try to give you some tips to try to get you home tonight. We're going to give you the information you need to get you started. Coming up. Coming up.
This Guy's Garage. Like and subscribe.
All right, welcome back. So, your car won't start, or it won't crank. So, we're not talking about a no start where it's winding over. We're talking about a no crank situation. So this is what we're talking about here today. Could be a bad battery like this. So first things you want to check is your battery right here, and you want to go check your battery connections. Make sure they're not loose. The next thing you want to do is to see if your battery's dead or if you have loose connections. So first thing you can do without even opening the hood is turn on your lights, your dome lights, turn the key over. If the lights go dim, chances are you have a dead battery and you're going to be looking for a boost. Next, check your terminals. You want to check your terminals, you want to make sure that they're good and tight and clean. Sometimes it's as simple as wiggling the connections. Check your ground strap next and grab onto the wire if you can see it, see if it turns, make sure that there's no green corrosion around it. And same thing, check your primary wire and your primary connections going to your starter. There's a solenoid that's off the starter and there's a solenoid that's on the starter. So this is our starter here. This is solenoid going off the starter to the wire. Next, let's talk about the starter itself. So if we made it to here and it's not a connection problem, it's probably a starter problem. So a couple of things that can go wrong with your starter. The starter itself has a bushing here and a bushing on the back end. Sometimes giving the starter a tap, and you can use a BFH, tap the starter, the bushing is ground out at either end, and give that starter a little tap with your BFH. You can use Stilton if you have to. You can use this, but be careful because there's wires down there and you don't want to ground anything out. You can use your power handle, anything you have really. You can use a crowbar if you have to. So give that starter a tap. Now you go and try to start it up. If you start it up, fantastic. Get your butt home and do not drive it again. Actually, don't get your butt home. If you're not capable of fixing it, bring it directly to a trusted service outlet so you can get your starter taken care of. Because if it starts now, it doesn't mean it's going to start the next time, and you'll probably only have 3 or 4 starts before the starter completely gives up on you. So there you go there. Now another problem that happens on the starter side of things is you have your flywheel, and sometimes on the flywheel, these teeth here, I'll show you here, they can get worn. So the issue with the starter, or the issue with the flywheel, well, now there's teeth on 360 degrees of the flywheel, but because the engine is, whether it's a 4-cylinder or a 6-cylinder or an 8-cylinder, the engine, when you turn the key off, always stops in one of these 4 positions. It's just how the engine works. The engine always stops when it hits top dead center of the compression stroke. So to use a 4-cylinder example, this engine's going to stop in one of these 4 places every time. So it's going to be random, but If a spot gets worn out, what you need to do is get the engine to turn just a little bit. So if it doesn't start with a boost or tapping it on the hammer, what you want to do is try to turn your belts over, and hopefully you can get the starter to disengage the flywheel. Like so. So you can get past that bad spot on the flywheel. And once you do that, you should be able to wind it over. But usually that's a bad spot on the flywheel. So let's show you how to roll that engine over. And if you have a standard transmission, put it in the highest gear possible and give the car a couple of pushes, and that'll roll the engine over enough to get past the bad spot on the flywheel. If you tap the starter with a hammer, you want to keep your ears open. If you hear a little click, chances are the car is going to start, so you want to go out and hit the key. Like I said earlier, you're going to only have 2 or 3 starts left. If you have a dead battery, you want to get a boost. If it's not a dead battery, then it's a connection problem. If it's not a connection problem, it's an engagement problem. And if it's not an engagement problem, it's a flywheel problem. So this is the flywheel being probably the worst case scenario. If you have a standard car that has a standard transmission, you can always go to the jump starting method. So you're going to want to find your starter, give it a couple of taps with a hammer or anything that will reach it, really. If this helped you out, please hit the like button to help get this information out. We're going to give you the information you need to get you started. Coming up. Coming up.
Weather's nice today.
Weather's nice. We're gonna give you the information you need to get you started. Coming up.
Try again.
We're going to give you the information you need to get you started. Coming up. Almost there.
Sam would like to know if you need heavier cables.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
We're going to give you the information you need to get you started. Coming up. So I hope this information helped you. You can hit the subscribe button right there. Leave a like, it really helps us out. And you can watch another video right around here. So until the next.
This guy's garage. Like and subscribe.